This is weird.
Oh, man.
Where's the screwdriver, Gary? My name is Steve Santini. I buy and sell the darkest, most gruesome artifacts on the planet. Welcome to the dark side. A lot of amazing things here. 25-foot-long snake skin?
That's huge.
Must be some sort of python. You know, that could eat a human being? That's what happened to this guy. It's a cobra in a bottle. Dosage twice a day, each a small cup before the meal. That's twisted.
How much is it?
It's $200. $200 for death in a bottle. That's wild. You got some amazing things here. The skeleton and the cobra in a bottle. And what are those? The Freddy Krueger type gloves back there.
Oriental Royalty Guardsman battle gloves. Those are nasty.
Can you imagine if you backhanded somebody in the face like that with the glove? You'd pull the face right off somebody. What are you asking for those?
$750 will take
It is a very wild thing.
Yeah. This is a ceremonial drinking cup made from a human skull.
Oh,
man. It's a very rare piece.
And this is to, I guess, honor the memory of the dead person. Maybe you drink with them, per se, right?
Yeah.
And you can see how somebody would have held it. They would have held it very daintily like this. This is really strange. I mean, this is the creepiest thing I've seen in ages. What are you asking for this?
I was looking about $800 for it, because I know the scarcity of something like that.
Would you do half? Could you do half? Come in at $4.
No. I'll go $5.
$5?
Because I know it's going to a good home, and I got to make something for overhead. But that's my bottom line, $500. I won't go any less than that.
It's extremely dark. I mean, drinking out of somebody's skull.
It's extremely rare as well.
I have to do this. I'm doing this at $5. This is just, I can't pass this up.
Well, I love finding stuff a good home.
I'm often asked to authenticate dark objects for museums and auction houses when they aren't sure about them. Today I'm meeting with Sean to see an item he needs more information on. Some job here.
I was doing a small estate sale, and they've asked me about this piece here. They believe it is a 19th century replica Scold's bridle.
Scold's bridle?
Yes.
Wow.
I checked it over, and there's something about it. I wanted to come and get you to look at it because I know that you have a collection of interesting pieces.
That's for sure. That's an understatement.
Definitely wanted it looked at by somebody like yourself that knows this stuff a little better than I do.
This blows me away. This is weird.
I'm surprised you don't have one in your collection yet.
I've never seen one like this. I've never even seen one personally. And a Scold's bridle has a piece to keep the tongue down so a person can't talk or scold. It's got that element. I mean, this piece would go in the mouth, but I don't understand these pieces here. I mean, your forehead would be about there. So when's the auction? When do you need to know by?
Steve, it's in 4 days.
4 days.
I actually figured coming to see you, you'd be able to say, Sean, you know what this is?
You know what? Normally I would, but I've never seen anything like this. Well, I'll tell you what, I know some people that could likely tell us what this thing is, and I'm sure I can get you an answer in 4 days. I have only 4 days to authenticate this unusual helmet, so my first stop is going to be with a medieval historian to see if she can figure out exactly what this thing is. This is the monstrosity under discussion.
Absolutely astonishing. I've never seen anything like this.
It's twisted.
I thought from the pictures that it was a Scold's bridle, but I've never actually seen a Scold's bridle with these in them before.
Yeah.
These look like thumb screws. I think it's some sort of torture instrument.
Do you have anything we could compare it to, possibly, in pictures?
I do have some pictures of Scold's bridles. Here's a Scottish one. So you can see it's very similar in
Right.
shape, but without this. But as you see, there's a tongue depressor here, but it's nothing like this. It would just press the tongue down.
It's the overall shape is the same. I mean, certainly we have an opening for the nose here.
Yep.
Do you think, maybe, Professor, that these were added on at a later date?
In the 19th century, it was not uncommon to make replicas of medieval torture
To
instruments.
titillate the masses,
Exactly.
the Victorian public, right?
And what apparently sometimes happened is that people would bring together two different types of instrument. So what you might have is a Scold's bridle with sort of a torture element added on.
Okay.
In the pictures, it seemed 19th century, but looking at the metal, it seemed much older than that. There was wearing on the metal. So now it's a real mystery to me as to whether it is a 19th century object or, in fact, it's a lot older.
Would you care to try it on?
Sure.
Are you
I was
serious?
going to ask you if I could, actually.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You're adventurous, I must say. It's probably once in a
I'm not
lifetime.
sure I'll ever do this again.
It's a lifetime opportunity.
promise
Rob,
to
I'll
get
need
me
you
out.
to hold the front of it. Rob, I need you to hold. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Is it heavy?
It is very heavy.
I won't do the back up.
Thank you.
And if we were to tighten these, you can imagine. But can you open your mouth? Like, yeah, that would go right in there. You know, I've never had the guts to put this on somebody before, and thanks for being. Oh, it won't come off. It's stuck. Just kidding. Just kidding. My final offer, $2,000. The very best I can do.
Oh, man.
Where's the screwdriver, Garrett? When do you need to know by?
Steve, it's in 4 days.
4 days.
I think it's some sort of torture instrument.
Steph saw an ad online of a guy selling swords, and one of them in particular really stood out.
This is the stuff.
Wow, it's a little armory you've built up here, Mike.
Very nice.
How'd you get these things?
I had this guy that I knew who owed me some money, and he never had any cash, so he gave me these. And he told me he got it from some medieval torture museum in Hawaii.
If this guy had done his homework, he would have known that there was once a museum in Hawaii that had authentic instruments of torture, including the entire royal castle of Nuremberg collection. What are you looking for? Are you selling individually? Can I buy like one piece?
I'd
or
rather sell them all together, just get rid of it and do it in all one fell swoop.
Okay.
I'd like to get, I don't know, around $3,000 for them.
Not to burst your bubble or be offensive, but this piece here, it looks like a Japanese katana sword. You can pick these up in, you know, any number of novelty shops in any part of any Chinatown of any city. Maybe 60 bucks?
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. This sword here is something you get in the South Pacific. It's a cool piece, but probably only about 50, 40 years old. I'm interested in this one. That's why I asked you about individuals. I mean, because it seems to be, can I hold it?
Yeah, sure, go
It
ahead.
seems to be the oldest one of the lot. I couldn't believe in the midst of all those worthless swords, there was what I believe to be an authentic execution sword. It had the classic shape, a razor-sharp blade and a blunt tip, and only one type of sword looks like that. A German sword made for taking off people's heads. I can't do three. I'm thinking more along the lines of,
1,600?
that's kind of what I was thinking, about 1,600.
How about 2,500?
How about 18? And I walk with all four.
It's pretty good. 2,150. And you walk with all four.
My final offer, the best I can do, and I'm going to take a hit here, I can do $2,000. That's the very best I can do. I'm taking a chance on that one sword there that might be worth something, so.
Okay, okay, I'll take two.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mike.
No problem.
If this sword checks out to be an actual execution sword from Nuremberg and from the 1600s, I got an amazing deal. We're here today to meet and hang out with the Black Widow Hearst Club. It's going to be great hanging around some like-minded people. That is sweet.
Oh, yeah.
We dress in black, we drive hearses, and we like to shock people. We're kindred souls. Yeah. Oh,
look
that's
at that,
sweet.
man. Oh, yeah.
These are nice cars.
You got a nice one here, too.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe, though, how many people think it's morbid to ride around in one of these. The looks we get, oh, man.
Morbid to ride in a hearse. You should see what I have at home.
What, a cadaver or something?
No, I collect vintage funeral stuff.
Hey.
Tables, embalming bottles.
Tell me about
That's
that
right
casket.
I
up,
got a casket. Used one.
right up your alley.
Oh, yeah.
Now Rob will have a place to sleep at night. This is great, you know? Keep it in the basement.
Yeah, I sure do. Come on down. This is where I
Oh, this is awesome.
have all my stuff.
Man, oh man,
amazing.
this is dark.
I usually find my items at hearse conventions or through funeral directors and sometimes even online.
What are those hideous-looking syringe-type things there? My
Yeah,
God.
this here is an embalming fluid hand pump.
Oh,
And it's a suction device.
So you
Check
mean
it out.
this would suck out blood and in its place put in embalming fluid?
Yes.
I can appreciate it. It's cool, but it's gross.
But if you want gross, here's a device you'd want
I
to
really
check out.
don't want gross. Funerals, I hate funerals.
yes, gross. Bring on the gross.
What this does is you wrap a little wire and you inject it into the gum, and it's like a little stapler. What you're doing is you're wiring the lips together.
Oh, dude.
Once they staple you all up, they make up the dead to look like they're alive.
Seriously? This is makeup for the dead?
You would love this,
my-
of course, right?
If you're into the makeup side of things, let me grab this case right here, and let me show you this here. This is one of my favorites here.
Look at that. Oh my God.
That's a lot older. This
Yeah,
stuff,
this
though,
is
right?
20s. The other one's late 40s, 50s.
Wound filler.
Wound filler. Oh.
Oh, that's cool.
Where would you find stuff like this, and what's something like that worth?
Because of the case itself, I'd put a value probably about $700.
And the more modern one that you showed us?
Well, just because it's the bottles itself is $80.
Oh, 80?
Yeah.
Hey, you can buy yourself some makeup of the dead. Hey, guess what?
Yeah. I'm not sure why I love funerary items so much, but there's just something about Victorians through the 1920s. They just seem to embrace death, and it wasn't as taboo as it is nowadays.
That stuff, give it a try.
All right. Hey. Oh, man.
Where's the screwdriver, Darren?
How's it feel, Steph?
It's actually pretty comfy.
Pretty good. Yeah.
I have a real time crunch on my hands to get this helmet authenticated in time for the auction house. Hopefully my friend Thak can weigh in and tell me exactly when this thing was made.
Well, it's definitely hand forged, but there is a lot of irregularity in it. There's difference in bandwidth between the two bands here. The rivets are handmade as well, which leads me to believe that it would be older rather than newer.
So what does it mean that these are different widths?
There was only a few cross sections available in iron bars back in the ancient times, so they would usually have to start out with a bigger bar size and forge it to whatever dimension they need. So there's going to be irregularities.
Okay. The screws. I've never seen a thread pitch that coarse.
Yeah, for a screw this small, the pitch is quite coarse.
How far back did they have lathes that could do something like that?
The late 1400s.
Wow, really? That far back?
How did we never notice this?
No, I never saw that before.
You're going up.
Yeah, well, that was your fault. You did that, I didn't.
If this sword checks out to be an actual execution sword, I got an amazing deal. How far back did they have lathes that could do something like that?
The late 1400s.
So if somebody built that now using antique metal, would it have the same look?
It takes time for wrought iron to patina like this, and it's a tough, especially wrought iron is a tough one to fake. And this patina actually looks to me to be pretty genuine.
Are we looking at something that could be medieval?
There's nothing here that screams modern. Whether it's 400 or 500 years old or simply 100 some years old, it's really hard to pinpoint.
This item is proving to be extremely difficult to pin down. It's a real mystery and maybe rarer than I could ever imagine. You know, I love coming to this place. They've got a lot of cool stuff here, but I'll tell you, the guy is really hard to haggle with.
Yeah.
Check this out. Look, Book of the Inquisition, right up my alley, right?
Hey.
The Art of Torture, Get Married. Look at this, 1892, London. This is something I've got to give a go for. Jim, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
You?
Good.
Good.
Really good.
Good.
Hopefully better in a few minutes. What do you say on this?
$160.
160?
160.
What's
It's the first edition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You knew that.
Yeah.
Okay. 80.
90.
85.
95.
Oh, here we go again. 90.
Make it $100 and that's it.
But wait a minute. You're going up. Oh,
Yeah, well, that was your fault. You did that, I didn't.
I didn't do that.
Yes, you did. Okay.
Jim, every time I come in here, I leave.
With something valuable.
Part of me loves haggling with Jim, part of me hates it. I mean, I hate the fact that I can never get the deal I want for the price I want, but I love watching Jim work. I'm a busy guy, so I'm sending Rob and Steph to meet with a great expert named Paul Ambrose. He really knows his stuff, and I can't wait to hear what he says about my new execution sword.
So this is the sword?
This is it.
Oh, I couldn't wait to see it. Oh, looks like a nice one.
Oh, she's a beautiful one, that's for sure.
Where did you guys get this thing again?
Apparently where it came from was a torture museum in Hawaii. Most of the stuff in his collection came from the Castle of Nuremberg in Germany.
That makes sense, actually, based on
Really?
the fact that, yeah, this does appear, at least at first glance, appears to be a genuine German beheading sword or sword of justice, most likely around 1650 in that time.
Really, that old?
Yeah.
So how do you know that?
Well, just by looking at it, actually, you take a look at this piece overall, the length and size and weight at first are definitely right and correct for the style of a sword like this. Also the blade, because the blade has what they call a spatula-type shaped blade. There's no point on the end of it. There really is no need for the point on a beheading or executioner's sword.
Now, I've been told, and I've seen some pictures of these, where the execution swords always had engravings on it. This doesn't have any that I can see.
There's the vestige of a little mark. If you look very carefully, you'll see it actually is a little engraved border. It comes up to here. It almost looks somewhat like a slightly floral design, and it has a slight gold or copper alloy inlay in it.
Holy shit.
How did we never notice this?
No, I never saw that before. So this really authenticates it then.
It certainly does help add to the authenticity of it. That combined with the staining on the blade, which would indicate that it probably was used. And the blood as a result of that would probably over time would oxidize the blade.
So is that what some of these spots are?
That's what you're seeing with those rust
someone's
spots.
blood?
What do you think this is worth?
A piece like this, I mean, that you can more or less prove beyond a shadow of a doubt is an original example, and probably what I would consider to be about very good to near fine condition for a piece of its age. Generally would retail for roughly $5,000 to $7,500 American.
Oh, he's really
Gonna be happy now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Should get it. It's a nice piece.
Are we looking at something that could be medieval?
It's really hard to pinpoint.
Generally would retail for roughly $5,000 to $7,500 American.
We're back.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed your time away.
It was good.
It's probably better than me, man. I'm going through hell trying to research this helmet. Nobody knows anything about it.
Well, unfortunately, I have more bad news for you.
Bad news?
Very bad.
The sword
What?
isn't authentic.
What?
It was made in the last 50 years.
Oh, that is the worst.
I have good news for you. Okay?
What?
Paul thinks that this is an authentic German executioner's sword that's worth between $5,000 and $7,000.
Well, that's awesome news. That is like double my money.
And he thinks it's from Nuremberg.
It's funny you say that because in your absence, this thing was frustrating me so much. I started researching through the Nuremberg collection, and I found a listing in an old catalog. Item 308, execution sword with a flat blade. And you know, of all the swords in there, I think this is our sword.
Excellent.
Good research.
Oh, you know, maybe I don't need a researcher.
Oh, great, yeah. So what's going on with this thing?
Well, you know, I don't know. There's times I want to throw it through the wall. But with it, the more I want it for myself. I mean, I look at the bolts. It looks like a torture device. And you know what? Here's the worst thing. If I can't prove what it is, I don't satisfy the auction house, so I'm doomed there. If I prove it to be a torture instrument, the price goes through the roof, and then I have to bid a huge price to get it for my collection. Either way, I've screwed myself into a corner with this. There's only one guy I can think of that can help me. That's Guido Veresi. He owns a torture museum in Switzerland, and he's agreed to take time to look at this helmet. He is my last resort. Guido, hi. Great to see you. I have limited time to authenticate this for the auction house. What do you think it is that I have here, Guido?
It is a torture helmet, not a Scold's bridle. That's a fact. It's just the shape of a Scold's bridle. This was an official part of torture after the rack.
You mean after the rack, they would use something like this on someone?
Yeah.
Oh, man. You sent us, you know, some pictures of one from Germany.
Yeah, there is one very similar in this auction catalog in Germany. It is almost identical, you know?
It does look identical.
I think the possibility the thing is very high.
You know, what kind of a price could we put on this for him to try and sell it for?
$13,000.
Wow.
Wow. That's incredible.
That's amazing.
A normal price for such a thing.
It's been an extremely hectic few days authenticating this valuable and rare torture helmet. It would make an amazing addition to my collection. But if I thought it was a challenge to try and authenticate it, it'll be a bigger challenge trying to buy it.
Here we are, the prize of the evening. Nice little torture helmet here. I had this fully checked out by my professionals. They have authenticated it. It is a nice 1500s torture helmet. Very, very rare to find one of these. Who's going to start us off here at about $5,000? 5 I have. I'm at a 5 now, 52 and a half, maker 52 and a half, in 55. I'm at a 55 now, 57 and a half, in 59. 59 and 6. 62 and a half again. Thank you. I'm at 62 and a half, in 65. 65 and 67 and a half, 7. 7,000, now 75. 75, now 8, go 8, go 8. 8. And give it 85 to 85. 85 and now 80, 87 and a half. Thank you, sir. I'm at 87 and a half, now 9. 87 and a half, now 9, go 9, give 9. Sold her. $9,000.
Yes! Yes! When Steph told me what Paul Ambrose said about my execution sword, and that it could be worth up to 3 times what I paid for it, I was in a mood to test out my own executioner skills. Oh! another chance. Cool.